Hello everyone and welcome back to Jeffy and Chihuahua. My name's Jeffy and this is my best friend, Android the Chihuahua. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a very simple melt and pour soap, and we're going to be making them look like little margaritas. Now, I don't own Margarita scent oil, but I have this really cool mint mojito oil we'll be using. So the way they look and the way they smell will be a little bit different, but I think that our overall product is going to be awesome. So the first item I want to show you guys that I got for this project was this little silicone mold, and I got this on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description. This mold was, I believe, $9, and it makes little shot glasses, so you can make ice shot glasses or whatever. So today we are going to be making soap shot glasses out of them. Now, if you don't know how many ounces come in a mold, like this one didn't tell me how many ounces come in a mold, you can pour water into your mold and then pour that water into a container on your scale, and that's how you get the ounces per little hole that you have here. So for this particular mold, our shot glasses are exactly 2 ounces. So I have pre-measured some clear melt and pour soap here, and I just measured out about 8 ounces. That way we can do 4 of these little guys, and that should be enough for today. So step 1 for our whole process is of course going to be to melt our melt and pour soap and pour it into our mold. Okay, so I have our clear melt and pour base completely melted down from 30-second bursts in the microwave, and now I'm going to pour in our scent oil. I have half a pound of soap here, so I'm going to be pouring in 1/4 ounce of our scent oil. A good rule of thumb with your fragrance oil is just 1/4 to 1/2 ounce per pound of melted soaps. So I'm just going to pour this in and give it a really nice stir. Wow, I love the scent. It really does smell like a mint mojito. And I think I got this scent at Candle Science if you're interested in getting the same exact scent that I did. Right, I would say that's about stirred enough. And then we're just going to pour them into our mold. And the moment that you filled your mold with soap to the top, you're going to want to spray it with a little bit of alcohol, and that gets rid of any bubbles on top, and it gives you a nice clean looking bar at the end. So our little mold is curing right now, and we need to work on some straws. You have options when it comes to straws. I have seen people use paper straws a lot when it comes to soap making, and they have beautiful results. I personally don't like the paper straw in soap idea because I feel like it will start to disintegrate in the shower and get a little gross, but you know, it's completely personal preference. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people do it, so it is an option. You could also use plastic straws, but then you have people with plastic pieces that aren't going to melt in the shower. So I really think the best option when it comes to straws is just to make your own. So I have a little bit more of our clear melt and pour. And then here I have some activated charcoal, and I'm just going to put a tidbit of this in and melt down our base. All right, into the microwave, and we'll see how this works. All right, so here is our activated charcoal and melted clear melt and pour base. And I think that looks pretty black. It probably could be a little bit blacker, but I'm pretty satisfied with that. So now we're going to pour it into our mold. And you don't want it to be very high because you want the height to be about the height that you want your straw. So if you don't use all of it, that's completely okay. Just get it about the height that you want your straw. And then we're just going to let that completely settle, and we'll come back and cut it into little strips to make straws out of. I almost forgot the alcohol, and look how much better it looks with the alcohol. Definitely don't skimp on it. All right, now we're going to prep some ice cubes, and to do this, I'm actually not going to add any scent oil to this part because it's kind of just adding an extra step, and I think that the rest of our soap has enough scent in it that it won't really matter. But we just need to cut some of our clear melt and pour soap into cubes that will be small enough to look like ice cubes. So I originally wanted us to use this mica powder, but then I found this beautiful chartreuse in my drawer, and I think my Chihuahua would agree that this is the correct choice for us. Yes, he said for sure, definitely. Okay, so here is our little black piece that will be our straws. And now we're just gonna cut it, and because of the shape of my mold, I'm probably gonna cut the weird ends off and then make a bunch of little straws, but it really just depends on the mold you used. These are looking pretty good. I know that straws are not square, they are circular, but I just really don't think that it will make a huge difference. These look really good to me. I rated our ice cubes because our first ice cubes were just a little on the large size, so these ones look a lot better to me. So I have unmolded our little shot glasses and they're looking pretty good. Our next step is going to be to add some sprinkles to the rim of our glass, and I just got these at Michael's and they were like $1, so you can add any kind of sugar sprinkles to your soaps because sugar is water soluble. I don't prefer it for an outside of a glass because it probably feels a little bit scratchy, but you know, if you need it for the beautiful finished product, it is worth it. To get this sugar on the rim of our glasses, we are going to melt a little bit of Melton pour, and I just cut the bottom off of a microwave safe container because I wanted to use something smaller than our large jar, because whatever soap we don't use for dipping will probably end up in the garbage. So I mean, you could reuse it, but this should work for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the microwave, and then we will come back and sugar our rims. Our dipping setup is completely ready to go. I'm just gonna let this sit for a second so it gets a little bit thicker. And once it's just a little thicker, we will be ready to dip each glass. Perfect. That looks so good. Seriously, better than I was expecting. So let's finish these other ones before our Melton pour dries. Okay, these look stunning. Seriously, better than I was expecting. So we're going to give these a little second to dry, and meanwhile we are going to heat up the Melton pour base that will go into the middle of our little shot glasses. And I measured these particular shot glasses hold 1 ounce each, so this is a little bit more than 4 ounces just because, you know, a little bit's probably going to stick to our jar. And I've also pre-measured our scent oil, that way when we pull it out of the microwave we are ready to pour. The next thing we're going to need to prep is our pigments. And to do that, you're just going to take one of these little cups, add some alcohol, and then pour a little pigment in there and stir. Now there's 2 reasons that we're doing it this way. Number 1, the alcohol helps break up our mica powder so that we don't have any clumps in our final project. And the other reason that we are doing it like this is because we want such a light color for our little margaritas that we are going to use an eyedropper to drop the amount that we want in, like 1 drop at a time, into our clear Melton pour base. That way we are sure we get the exact color of green that we want for this. The one last thing to do before you melt your clear Melton pour base for the inside of these shot glasses is to make sure that your straws are the correct size. I thought we would have to shorten ours, but these are actually perfect for the little shot glasses that we have here, so I'm not going to need to trim these at all, but definitely it's good to prep those before you melt your Melton pour base for the inside of this. Okay, so our clear Melton pour base is completely melted, and here is our green, and I'm just going to take this little eyedropper and put a little at a time in. Wow, that didn't do much at all. We might need a lot more of this than I expected. I'm going to keep using this dropper method though, because I really want this to look like a margarita, and I think if we put too much of the green in, we can get some weird results. Alright, that color looks perfect to me. It's a little bit see-through still, but you definitely can see the green really well. Next, I'm just going to pour in our scent oil and we'll be ready to pour. When it comes to these little guys, we're going to try and pour them only halfway, and then we're going to let that sit. That way we can get our ice cubes to sit on the top half. Before we pour our green Melton pour base in, we want to spritz it with alcohol on the inside really quick, and that will just help our layers stick together better. Then we're going to pour about halfway because we want our ice cubes to sit on top really nicely. Okay, and then once that's done, just spritz again to get rid of any air bubbles. And then we're going to toss in one of our little black straws. Now we just have to let them sit and harden a little bit, and we'll be ready to add our final touches. We are just about done with this project. The insides look like they've hardened, and also the rest of our Melton pour has hardened, so we're just going to toss this back in the microwave to get it melted down again. So everything is nice and melted again. This time we want to wait and let this thicken a little bit. That way our ice cubes don't fall through. So I'm just going to keep stirring until it gets a little bit thicker, and then we'll be ready to pour our final layer on. Now we just need to spritz the inside of these with a little bit of alcohol. And then we're going to pour, but not all the way to the top because we don't want our ice cubes to overfill these molds. Now we're just going to take our little ice cubes and start to place them. Of course, we'll spritz the top with a little more alcohol to get rid of any bubbles. So once we've spritzed the tops with alcohol, we're ready to just let these sit, and then they will be completely done. So this is our finished product. Overall, I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think they are absolutely gorgeous, and I think that they would make really good gifts along with a candle that had the same scent. If you want to purchase one of the ones that I made in this video today, you can find them on my website at jeffyandchihuahua.com. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing so I can see you again. Bye.